Chen Yu unexpectedly obtained the heavenly book, and helping others also enabled him to achieve cultivation and become an immortal. Therefore, Chen Yu launched a live stream of psychological counseling. In the live broadcast room, the water enthusiasts were all dumbfounded. "Dr. Chen, are you sure this is psychological counseling? There's no one who can't break the defense on the wheat. This anti-counterfeiting actually drove me inside. Shuiyou. I am very good, there is no possibility of depression. Chen Yu. Don't worry, when I finish speaking, you will be depressed. Water enthusiasts. This is not a psychologist, this is a master." Chen Yu said calmly, "Don't talk nonsense, I graduated from a bachelor's degree in psychology." Novel keyword. Shocking the entire internet. Do you call this a psychologist? No pop-ups, shocking the entire network. Do you call this a psychologist? Download the complete TXT collection, shocking the entire network. Do you call this a psychologist? Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Tianji Strategy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Tianji Strategy Hefang Street. One of the busiest commercial streets in Hangzhou. Here, we gather a variety of unique time-honored shops and shopping malls. From morning till night, tourists flock and bustle. Even in relatively remote locations at the end of the street, there are occasional visitors passing by. A handsome young man closed the shop early. A few days ago, Chen Yu received a phone call stating that his overseas uncle had left him an antique shop. When he happily took over, he found that it had become a grocery store inside. Unexpectedly, while he was organizing, he came across a dark grid on the bookshelf and dropped out an ancient book called Tianji Su. According to ancient texts, the heavenly strategy can reveal the secrets of heaven. As long as one helps others change their destiny, they can achieve cultivation and become immortals. Chen Yu originally thought it was just a haphazardly fabricated miscellaneous book, but after a curious flipping through it, he actually learned the ability to peek through the sky. He was eager to give it a try, but what made him difficult was that there was a limitation to his ability, which was that he needed others to find him. This has stumped Chen Yu, and now fewer and fewer people believe in it. Moreover, as a young man in his 20s, who would come to him for fortune-telling? After pondering for a while, Chen Yu finally came up with an idea, which is to become a psychologist. Coincidentally, he graduated with a major in psychology. As long as someone asks him about psychological issues, he can also take a look together. So Chen Yu simply cleaned up the antique shop and transformed it into a psychological counseling room. He just thought it too simply. People with such needs usually go to hospitals, while others look for institutions with some reputation or a certain scale. A consultation room like him, unless someone introduces him, is basically ignored. The fact is that Chen Yu stayed alone in the store for a few days, and not a single passerby stopped to inquire inside his store. Until the day before yesterday, Chen Yu accidentally saw a notice from Shuiyou live streaming inviting a psychological counselor to conduct mental health education. He knew that the opportunity to promote his counseling room had arrived. Even if the person watching the live broadcast may not be in Hangzhou, they can still make video calculations online. Chen Yu decisively contacted the platform, but was informed that there were too many invited people and went back to wait for notification. But when the super management who decided on this event saw Chen Yu's photo, they directly confirmed him. So today Chen Yu closed the shop early and went up to the second floor to prepare for the evening live broadcast. With the enthusiastic assistance of the super management girl, Chen Yu quickly adjusted the live broadcast equipment. At 7 p.m., Chen Yu opened the live broadcast room on time. Zhou Kersen is a game anchor for the live broadcast of Tiger Fish. With its outstanding physique and humorous live streaming style, it has attracted a considerable number of fans. However, she has been taking several days off recently, despite being almost non-stop all year round. Today, Zhou Kersen originally planned to continue taking a break and let her best friend broadcast it on behalf of her. However, when she saw that the group's super management was promoting that a psychological counselor would come tonight to popularize mental health knowledge, Zhou Kersen immediately asked if the super management could connect with a psychologist. Chao Guan saw that it was Zhou Kersen who wanted to interact with the microphone, but he was too happy to do so in time. How could he not agree? Being able to connect with top anchors on the platform can be even better than using the homepage to attract traffic. After all, there are still very few water enthusiasts interested in this aspect. After receiving a response from the supervisor, Zhou Kersen climbed up from the bed, feeling unwell. The reason why she has been taking so many days off recently is because her mental state is not very good. According to the symptoms, Dun Yang was diagnosed with depression. It is said that the average anchor is depressed, but perhaps the pressure has really been a bit high lately, and they have unknowingly developed it. Zhou Kersen originally wanted to go to the hospital for a visit, but happened to encounter a few inconvenient days in a month. I didn't expect a psychologist to come to the platform for science popularization today, so it might be helpful for her to take a look. So, Zhou Kersen started live streaming shortly after the start of mental health education. Yo, isn't this the missing anchor Zhou Jie? How come you remember live streaming yourself? It's rare for a live streamer to start broadcasting on their own. If they don't start broadcasting again, the host will change. If the anchor is uncomfortable, take more rest. We don't mind, dog-headed expression. Yes, let an and make one in the future. Let's be a person. Didn't you see the anchor's expression? As soon as Zhou Kersen opened her live broadcast room, a large number of fans flooded in. As soon as they saw that it was Zhou Jie, not the recently broadcasted anan, they all started joking. Zhou Kersen didn't get angry when she saw these barrage comments, thanks to her best friend these past few days. Not only did I help her broadcast, but I also took care of her daily life. So it's actually quite enjoyable to see my fans enjoy watching my best friend and Anne's live stream. Afterwards, when she's better, perhaps you can ask her if she's willing to continue being her second channel, so she doesn't have to play for so long and has time to take a break. Long time no see, my family. Although her head was still a bit dizzy, Zhou Kersen smiled and greeted the camera and fans. If you like Anan so much, then I will have to stop broadcasting and rest more in the future, Zhou Kersen pretended to be angry. The fans in the live broadcast room immediately fell to one side upon hearing this. Don't, I still like to watch abstract Zhou Jie. Who is Anan? I don't know her. Alright, I don't know you guys yet. Anan is in the next room and will come over to help me broadcast later. Zhou Kersen has long been accustomed to the behavior of fans betraying me at any time. I haven't had a good rest lately, and a psychologist happened to come to our platform for science popularization. Let's go take a look together first. As Zhou Kersen entered the live broadcast room number, a large wave of fans and viewers also flooded in. At the moment when the live broadcast screen appears, if it weren't for the title of Psychological Health Science Popularization, Zhou Kersen would have thought she had entered the wrong live broadcast room. She didn't expect the doctor who came to the platform to do mental health education to be so young and handsome. Even celebrities are just like that. Zhou Kersen felt much better in an instant and couldn't wait to video chat with Chen Yu. None of the fans who followed were surprised by Chen Yu's appearance. Lying down, this is definitely a psychologist. This beauty is about to catch up with me. It's a pity not to become a celebrity. Chen Yu, who was about to finish popularizing science on mental health, also noticed a sudden influx of a large number of netizens into the live broadcast room. He knew that the super management had just sent him a message that the big anchor who wanted to connect with him was coming. Although the platform's homepage had previously recommended that someone intermittently enter a new live broadcast room, it was quickly clicked out, leaving only a few to interact with Chen Yu. And it is not difficult to see from the barrage of comments that these remaining fans are all female fans. As expected, a window popped up on the computer asking anchor Zhou Jiesun to apply for a video connection with you. How could Chen Yu not seize the opportunity to deliver it to your door? He immediately clicked accept. End of this chapter. After I finish chapter 2, you will become depressed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After I finish chapter 2, you will become depressed. Hello, Dr. Chen. Zhou Curson, who used to be carefree, now looks shy. The 2 live broadcast rooms were suddenly filled with question marks. What? I haven't seen you for a few days. How did Sister Zhou become like this? Is this still Zhou Jia I know? Believe it or not, it's just 2 punches. Chen Yu was not affected by the barrage and responded with a smile. Hello, I heard from the supervisor that you have psychological issues that you want to consult with me. Well, I've been feeling weak and lethargic all day lately, unable to sleep, and feeling restless. Zhou Curson nodded. Is it caused by psychological problems? Have you ever had no fun doing anything, self-blame, feeling bad about yourself, and not wanting to socialize with others? That's not true. Chen Yu asked several questions in succession, but judging from Zhou Curson's answers and performance, Chen Yu didn't feel like he had a psychological problem. So, you turn off the beauty filter, I'll help you take a look. Chen Yu intends to directly utilize the ability of Tianji strategy, and regardless of the cause, it can be known. Okay. Zhou Curson instinctively responded, but immediately felt like she had heard the wrong thing. Isn't it normal to give her a psychological test? Although she didn't go to the hospital, she also searched online for information on how to screen for mental illness after going to the hospital. Dr. Chen, what you just said about the beauty filter. Zhou Curson repeated, feeling somewhat incredulous. Yes, the ancients often said that appearance comes from the heart, which means that a person's external appearance is influenced by their inner state of mind or state of mind. Chen Yu said seriously. Even a person's personality, thoughts, and experiences can be expressed through facial features. How could it be? Zhou Curson blurted out. Judging a person's personality from their appearance, she thinks there is still some possibility, but the experience is a bit too much. And how does it feel like fortune-telling? However, Zhou Curson still turned off her beauty filter. Her personality is like this, willing to try and explore the unknown. Dr. Chen, take a good look, okay. Zhou Curson, who was still quite confident about her natural appearance, slightly adjusted her skin. The water users in the live broadcast room were all dumbfounded. Anchor, do you believe me now? If it weren't for the official invitation, I would have thought it was a scammer. Absolutely impossible. I am a student majoring in psychology and have a field of micro-expression psychology. It can reveal a person's true emotions and emotions based on fleeting facial expressions, but it is also impossible to understand a person's experience just by looking at their face. Why bother with so much? Isn't this good? It just happens to see if there will be a big difference after Zhou Jia turns off her beauty. Oh, Sister Zhou is still plain-faced, she looks so beautiful. In fact, there is no need to turn off the beauty filter, and Chen Yu can also use Tianji Su. Just facing a face that has a beautiful skin grinding effect, without any visible facial features or complexion, would appear too outrageous. Chen Yu closed his eyes slightly and opened them again. Zhou Curson's lifelong fate flashed before his eyes like a movie. Just as Zhou Curson was about to ask. Your forehead has a pointed downward hairline, forming a sharp peck, also known as the golden rooster pecking imprint hall, or beauty's tip. Is this? Zhou Curson looked up and raised her hand to touch her forehead. What can this tell? Chen Yu said calmly, it indicates that your parents divorced since childhood and lacked family care. Causing your personality to be particularly persistent, but your academic performance is not satisfactory. After graduating from junior high school, you cannot enter high school and can only attend vocational school. To avoid being bullied, he appears very tough on the outside, but in reality, he is very weak inside. After graduating from vocational school, if you want to make a name for yourself, you will be looked down upon and run into obstacles everywhere because of your educational background. You can only work in a coffee shop with an anime theme. By chance, you and other working girls formed a girl group to debut. Although there is a lot of enthusiasm, the immaturity of the girl group idol industry and the packaging and promotion did not achieve the best results, and it ultimately came to an end. However, while working as a girl group, you accidentally came into contact with the esports industry. You seized the opportunity to become a game anchor through learning, and with your strong ability to organize activities, you gain a large number of water enthusiasts fans. Zhou Kersen only smiled slightly and did not show much surprise. Chen Yu shared some of these experiences during her live broadcast. Although it may not be as detailed, as long as you follow the information she has provided, you can still find it. As for her family situation and early experiences, Zhou Kersen didn't think anything of it. Instead, she used her own experiences to persuade her fans to study hard. I also attracted a lot of fans for this. Speaking of which, this handsome Dr. Chen knows so much about her. Is it her fan? Or is it the information provided to him by the official for the purpose of producing program effects? Dr. Chen, are you also my fan? Chen Yu recognized the meaning behind Zhou Kersen's words and clearly still didn't believe him. Let me tell you something that nobody else knows. When you were studying in a vocational school, a senior threatened to beat you up. You, who have always been very timid, are so scared that you dare not stay on campus and take the bus home every day. After finishing an evening class and returning home, you were followed by someone. Stop talking. Zhou Kersen's face changed drastically at this moment, and she quickly interrupted. At that time, she was young and completely scared. She didn't tell her parents when she went back, and she never mentioned it to anyone afterwards. It can be said that no one can know about this matter. Okay. Chen Yu nodded and did not continue. The water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room were not calm anymore, and they started scrolling barrage, instantly filling the entire live broadcast room. No, is that true? Sister Zhou wouldn't be. Don't talk nonsense, it might be okay. Anchor, tell me quickly what happened afterwards. Zhou Kersen's thoughts were distorted when she saw her water friend, and she was about to explain. Chen Yu has already said, the back is not what you imagined. Although Sister Zhou is timid, she won't scare her feet. In the end, she ran very fast. Zhou Kersen blushed a rare moment. Then he looked at Chen Yu with incredulous eyes and asked, how did you know about this? Chen Yu's face remained unchanged and he said, I can tell from your appearance. It's impossible, I don't believe it. This is all based on scientific evidence, as a person's emotions can affect neurotransmitters and subsequently alter their facial appearance. As soon as these words were spoken, Zhou Kersen, who only had a junior high school education, was momentarily confused. The live broadcast room is surprisingly consistent. The plot is good, I almost believed it. Alright, stop acting, give it a score of 8 out of 100. Sister Zhou, her acting skills are good and she can develop into the film and television industry. If you can tell, I'm wearing a bikini in public. I think it can be true. Really, almost all water enthusiasts do not believe that Chen Yu can tell Zhou Kersen's past experiences by looking at her face. Obviously, it was prepared in advance to produce the program effect. Dr. Chen, do you see the reason for my recent mental illness? Zhou Kersen knew that no matter how much she explained, Shuiyou would not believe it. She suppressed her doubts and asked about the purpose of this weak connection. Is it depression? Chen Yu shook his head and said, no, it's not. Just as Zhou Kersen was about to inquire about the reason. Chen Yu said again, but once I explain the reason, you will become depressed. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Good friends. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Good Friends, Puhaha, this psychologist is so funny. When I tell you the reason, you'll be depressed. Hahaha, this is the funniest joke I've heard today. Is this psychologist's predecessor a comedian? It's so funny. Even if it's the script, I've accepted it. The show's effect is just perfect. The water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room could no longer hold their tension, and the barrage instantly burst into laughter. Chen Yu was not affected by the barrage and said calmly, "Bring the cup next to you." Zhou Kersen looked puzzled, but still followed Chen Yu's instructions and brought the cup beside her. This is the cold medicine specially prepared for me by my best friend before the live broadcast because she was afraid I couldn't bear it. When it comes to her best friend, Zhou Kersen becomes interested. I'm telling you, we're fairy girlfriends. Look at her boastful tone on her face, her expression is extremely impressive. I've been sick lately, but she's taking care of everything herself. Thanks to her presence, otherwise I really wouldn't be able to handle it. I've been feeling like I've lost my soul these past few days, it's really uncomfortable. You must take good care of your health. This silly girl kept talking and caring for her water friends. She served tea and poured water, and even made a lot of love meals for me. She even helped me live stream when I had nothing to do. This is not something that ordinary girlfriends can do. Upon hearing this, the water enthusiasts were extremely envious. People are really infuriating than others. My best friend always puts on airs, hoping that each other can become rich and take care of themselves. Woo-woo, quickly put your best friend on the yellow car, I want as much as you have. Don't stop me, my family. I'll go and grab Zhou Jie's best friend back now. Chen Yu chuckled lightly and did not comment on Zhou Kersen's words. So, your relationship is really good. After listening, Zhou Kersen nodded straight like a sieve. That's for sure. She didn't realize anything beyond Chen Yu's words. Chen Yu let out a deep sigh. Ah. This fake friendship. Zhou Kersen looked at Chen Yu in front of the screen with a bewildered expression on her face. Full screen question marks on the bullet screen. Chen Yu said calmly, have you been suddenly very excited lately, easily excited but feeling short of breath and chest tightness after a while? How do you know? Zhou Kersen was taken aback upon hearing this. Good guy, Dr. Chen Yu is really amazing. What she said is almost identical to her current symptoms. Is it true that he is a living immortal? You poured out the cold spirit from the cup, leaving only the last bit. After listening, Zhou Kersen obediently followed suit. As the cold spirit was about to finish pouring out, Chen Yu spoke up and asked. Is there some residual powder at the bottom of the cup? This is traditional Chinese patent medicines and simple preparations granule. If it doesn't melt completely, there will be some. Maybe Anan forgot to stir it. Chen Yu snorted coldly after listening. Are you sure? Take a closer look yourself. Zhou Kersen widened her eyes and looked at the bottom of the cup, only then did she notice something unusual. The normal ganmaling granules should be brown in color. In the bottom of her cup, a faint white powder was suddenly discovered. Although it's just a little bit. People with poor eyesight cannot even notice this small detail. Zhou Kersen suddenly felt cold all over her body, and the more she thought about it, the more she became afraid. This. What kind of thing is this? The tone was trembling. Chen Yu had long guessed Zhou Kersen's reaction and said calmly. This is a medication for treating mental illnesses, scientifically known as amphetamine. Overuse can cause nerve tension, dizziness, headaches, and many other discomforts. Long-term use can lead to liver and kidney failure. The former is the symptom you are currently facing. Not only that, this thing will also become addictive. Zhou Kersen trembled all over and her face turned white. I just realized now, no wonder it's becoming increasingly difficult to wake up and live stream recently. Dizziness and mental fatigue all day long, it turns out that someone has drugged me. Water enthusiasts also became excited when they saw this. I didn't expect today's live broadcast to witness history. How exciting! Zhou Kersen asked with a trembling tone, Dr. Chen. Why is there such a thing in my cup? You have to ask yourself, how did cold spirit come from? Zhou Kersen was stunned for a moment and instantly understood. During this period, it was her good friend Anan who took care of her. Due to her poor condition, Anan was worried that she might lose energy during the live broadcast, so she prepared coffee for her every day with care. The result is actually getting worse and worse. Isn't this answer clear yet? Zhou Kersen couldn't figure out why Anan was doing this. Is it because she wants to naturally transfer fans to her after she falls down? At the thought of this, Zhou Kersen's heart twitched. On weekdays, Zhou Kersen often introduces resources to Anan, and takes care of her in various ways in daily life. I can't believe she would do such a thing. Why did she do this? I'm already good enough to her. Zhou Kersen's tone was noticeably lower. She's still in the next room, should I go and confront her? Chen Yu has a black line on his face, this woman with thick lines. You've been drugged, don't report to the police first and keep it for the Chinese New Year. Zhou Kersen finally realized. No, I have to call the police first. The thought of being in such an environment makes one feel anxious. Then he frantically searched for the phone on the table. The water enthusiasts who witnessed this live broadcast in the live room were shocked. Sleeping trough. Witnessing history. Such a plot actually exists in life. It won't be another script, acting can deceive our emotions. It doesn't feel like it's true. Even the script probably wouldn't dare to report it to the police. Mom, my back feels cold when I listen. The bullet screen scrolls so fast that it is difficult to see clearly. Famous beauty game anchor drugged, this is big news. I'm sure I can reach the level of trending on Weibo. Just as everyone was watching the excitement, someone broke into the live broadcast room. Kersen, no. I saw her wearing a tight hip wrap skirt, exuding a hot and sexy figure. Her front and back curves made people salivate. Her pure and delicate face and figure formed a strong contrast. At this moment, Zheng frowned tightly and stared fixedly at Zhou Kersen's phone. It is exactly what Zhou Kersen calls, good friend, Anan. Upon hearing the news, he ran over from the next room in a panic. If this matter is filed, she will be finished. She stopped Zhou Kersen's hand. We can't report this to the police, it's not good for us if it gets too big. Anyway, let's handle it privately, okay? Her tone in these words was slightly pleading, with tearful eyes that showed a pitiful expression. Zhou Kersen never expected that her closest friend would stab her. The scenes that flashed before my eyes were all the beautiful friendships of my former best friend. Please, Kersen, don't call the police. Anan plopped and knelt down on the ground. With a muffled knee sound, there was an intimate contact with the wooden floor. You. Zhou Kersen stood still, unsure of what to do. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Why not give it a try yourself? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Why not give it a try yourself, Kersen, please spare me. I'm really out of my mind to do this. Anan saw Zhou Kersen looking absent-minded and immediately grabbed her by the corner of her clothes, pleading bitterly. Are we really going to make such a mess of our sister's friendship for so many years? Zhou Kersen hesitated. After all, they also had a happy time before. I have always left a place for Anan to defend myself. Zhou Kersen looked at Chen Yu in front of the screen and asked, Dr. Chen, I. Before he could finish speaking, Chen Yu smiled slightly. Ms. Zhou, I'm just a doctor, everything can only be decided by you. Zhou Kersen was taken aback and realized that Chen Yu was just a psychologist. Blame it on Chen Yu's recent actions, which left a stereotype on Zhou Kersen. This is not a psychologist, it's just a master who knows everything. Zhou Kersen hesitated for a moment and said, since she already knew she was wrong, let's forget about it this time. Chen Yu shook his head in disappointment. I don't recommend you doing this. Because she has no remorse at all. All the sandwiches in your refrigerator have been drugged, and if you continue to eat them, you will almost become a fool. When Zhou Kersen heard this, her face turned pale, and the last trace of sister's friendship in her heart was broken. Okay, thank you, Dr. Chen. I'll call the police now. Anan, lying on the ground beside her, became anxious upon hearing this. Surprisingly, he directly grabbed Zhou Kersen's phone. At the same time, he angrily shouted, don't call the police. If you dare to call the police, I'm done. The live broadcast room suddenly fell into chaos. Water enthusiasts couldn't help but become worried when they saw this situation. I'll go, what does this crazy woman want? Stay away from my sister Zhou. I'm so angry. This woman is really crazy. She's so scary. Just as netizens wanted to see the changes in the situation on site, Zhou Kersen's live broadcast room was forcibly closed. A window pops up in front of the screen for water enthusiasts. The live broadcast you watched has ended. Thousands of fans who watched the live broadcast were momentarily stunned. Just seeing the exciting part, did you change the channel for me? Isn't this really taking my life? I can't even close my eyes when I sleep at night. All fans are itching in their hearts. Many fans directly search for Chen Yu's live broadcast room and want to see the follow-up. In an instant, the number of people in Chen Yu's live broadcast room rapidly increased, from a few hundred to several thousand and then to tens of thousands. There was even no intention of stopping, and a steady stream of fans flooded into the live broadcast room. You should know that the number of people watching Tiger Fish live online is real. It wasn't until the number of viewers approached 30,000 that it stabilized. At this time, Chen Yu's back-end was already filled with messages. Just now, Chen Yu's performance has been recognized by netizens, and whether it is the program effect or not, he is not stingy enough to give Chen Yu attention. The continuous fermentation of this matter has attracted many onlookers who came to visit Chen Yu's live broadcast room. It was really scary just now. I wonder if Sister Zhou successfully called the police. I don't know, I've been sweating for her while watching. Don't worry, I just reported her to the police. Sure enough, it's fire, theft, and theft prevention. My best friend, how could she do such a thing to save money? Dr. Chen, what's going on afterwards? Sister Zhou, she won't be in danger, will she? Chen Yu spoke slowly and said, don't worry, she's fine. The relevant department will be here soon. Be patient, she will start broadcasting and personally tell you later. Upon hearing Chen Yu's words, the water enthusiasts finally felt relieved. Seeing this, many people come to their senses and can't help but mutter in their hearts. Many people originally questioned whether Chen Yu and Zhou Kersen would join forces to sing the double reed and become popular in the drama industry. Now that there is so much commotion in this scene, it doesn't seem like a script hype. Of course, there are also many determined water enthusiasts who still suspect that this is a script. No, you believe it now. This is a proper script. That's right, even if a fortune teller comes, he doesn't have this ability. Chen Yu didn't care at all. With so many viewers now, he naturally wouldn't miss this opportunity. Continue to search for the next victim. No, it requires psychological counseling to prevent it. Is there anything else to consult? As soon as Chen Yu finished speaking, an imperial title with the username ID, waiting for rain under the sakura tree, immediately applied for Lianmai. Immediately, a young chubby man dressed in sportswear and wearing black framed glasses appeared on the screen. The dazzling luxury homes behind him all reveal the depth of his family background. Chen Yu's face remained unchanged with a smile as he said, "Hello, water friend." "Hello, Dr. Chen." Under the cherry blossom tree, as soon as the rain came, she took the initiative and chatted and laughed. I'm Zhou Jie's old fan. I chased her all the way here on other platforms before. I'm an old fan of her on other platforms. A small number of netizens in the live broadcast room also know that Zhou Kersen was a sister-like presence on another platform before. Many new fans on this platform have just followed her and really don't know about it. Chen Yu shook his head and said seriously, no, it's not. Not what? The cherry blossom tree was surprised when it heard the rain. You did hear about her on other platforms before, but you didn't even follow her. I just came here to eat melons. Actually, you don't like watching her live streams at all. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, he looked bewildered and said, how did you know? I couldn't help but wonder in my heart. Is it difficult to install surveillance cameras on me? Can such calm lies be detected? I've really seen a ghost. Chen Yu smiled slightly and lightly pointed to his own eyes. I am a psychologist, and every action and expression in my eyes is transmitting information, so lying to me is useless. Okay, you can see it all, said the cherry blossom tree with a gloomy expression as it waited for the rain. Seeing this, other water enthusiasts were restless and somewhat surprised. I'll go, how could it be? You can see through it completely out of thin air. I'm new here, is this the excuse I found again? Why don't I believe it so much? On the other hand, under the exposed cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, he opened up and said. I did just arrive after eating melon, and this time I'm on the microphone to figure out if you're working on the script. It's impossible for anyone to look back and know the future. Especially the more you say later, the more outrageous it becomes, just like you were there in person, I knew you had agreed beforehand. Cutting off the live broadcast at a critical moment is just not wanting to be discovered that you haven't really called the police. Because you know the police really called, you won't be able to end it. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain to speak confidently, getting stronger and stronger, as if truly seeing through their tricks. Chen Yu chuckled and said, since you don't believe it, why don't you try it yourself? End of this chapter. Chapter 5. This patient, your taste is very unique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. This patient, your taste is very unique, just give it a try. If you can accurately describe my personal experience, I will reward you with 20 carnivals. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, my whole body turned upside down since childhood. Speak harshly in your heart. Oath to expose this scam. You were born into a wealthy family, and from a young age, you never lacked money the most. Chen Yu said calmly, and because. Is that all? Without waiting for Chen Yu to finish speaking, the cherry blossom tree showed disdain for the rain. You dare to say that you didn't play the double reed, you exposed your true feelings. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, I transformed into a primary school student named Death God on the spot. There are a few big characters written on the face. There is only one truth. You are a fraud. I just promised that if you're right, I'll reward you with 20 carnivals. This sentence proves that I am not short of money. With a little analysis, anyone can guess that I was born into a wealthy family. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, sneered coldly. 666666, the primary school student's true god of death. You see, the bedroom behind him is decorated with grandeur, a second-generation wealthy man. Let's go, the anchor of the stone hammer is a scammer. The identification is complete. In an instant, barrage of bullets flew all over the sky. Chen Yu gave a faint smile. The proudest thing in your life is the banner with a little hero written on it by the bedside of your bedroom, right? At the head of the bed, there is a faded red banner hanging. There are 5 small characters written in the bottom left corner. Gift from a certain department. When you were in elementary school, on your way home alone, you were kidnapped by 2 traffickers, a man and a woman. You pretend to be foolish and foolish, making two famous traffickers lose their guard against you. The next night, while the human trafficker was asleep, you escaped from the hideout and reported to the relevant department. He personally led the way and assisted the police in capturing these two notorious human traffickers. At that time, you were just a 7-year-old child. Every time Chen Yu said a word, his face under the cherry blossom tree was shocked by the rain. Going back, my mouth was wide open. A ghostly appearance. How did Chen Yu know so much about what happened over a decade ago? Is the anchor really a psychologist? I feel more like a great immortal. Brother, is everything he says true? What else are you asking? You didn't see his shocked expression. Some clever water enthusiasts have already obtained the answer from the expression of waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree. Master, you are truly divine. Under the cherry blossom tree, wait for the rain to shout loudly and quickly click the mouse. Continuously sending out carnivals. For a moment, the live broadcast room was constantly dazzling with colors. The Carnival of 3001 brought not only financial benefits to Chen Yu. There are also a large number of new water enthusiasts who have heard the news. This patient, don't talk nonsense. I'm not a master, I'm a doctor. Please call me Dr. Chen. Chen Yu's tone became playful as the conversation changed. I have to say, your taste is very unique. Seeing that the number of people in the anchor room was approaching 100,000, Chen Yu decided to play a big game. As soon as these words were spoken, the water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room were in their minds. Countless question marks emerged. The anchor is making a fuss again. I like to eat spicy bean curd jelly served with sauce, which is a unique taste. Burn this heretic to death. Unlike the casual barrage of funny water friends. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, my heart thumped. Your parents' busy business has caused your family to gather less and leave more. Over time, you have become extremely eager for family affection. As time goes by, the desire for family affection begins to influence your taste in choosing a partner. Unlike other young people, you have no interest in the beautiful and fair-skinned Miss Long Legs. I only like those over 30 years old. Cough cough cough, big sister. Glancing at the cherry blossom trees waiting for rain on the screen. Chen Yu came up with another big move. Since reaching adulthood, you have pursued a total of 9 older sisters over the age of 30. 3 of them are divorced single mothers with their children. As soon as these words were spoken, countless barrage of bullets floated in the live broadcast room. Brother, your taste is indeed unique enough. When I was young, I didn't know how good my aunt was. I mistook a young girl for a treasure. I knew my aunt was good when I was young, but unfortunately my aunt disliked me for being old. The 2 upstairs are truly role models of our generation. How are you different from that chow thief? Auntie, hungry, have a meal. Is the spiritual world of the wealthy second generation so rich and colorful? Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, I wish I could find a crack in the ground to crawl in. Immersive experience. What is on the spot social death? Dr. Chen, no, Chen Zuzong, please stop talking. Besides, I won't have the face to hang out on the platform in the future. Alright, everyone, stop joking. Now let's move on to the consultation and relief. Chen Yu helped the cherry blossom tree to clear up the rain. Consultation session. Am I really sick? Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain unconsciously, Chen Yu completely brought the rhythm. I heard that I need to consult with myself. I think I have some mental or psychological illness. Chen Yu smiled and asked, have you been feeling quite down lately? Sigh. Upon hearing these words, the cherry blossom tree hung a bitter melon face under the rain. It's not just depression, it's like scratching your heart and liver. Before Chen Yu could say anything more, the cherry blossom tree waited for the rain to take the initiative to open its conversation box. He is crazily pursuing a big sister. But the other party's attitude towards him is always ambiguous. Sometimes proactively contacting. Sometimes very indifferent. I haven't replied to messages or phone calls for a few days. Isn't this a boiling lamb? Be more confident upstairs and remove any discord. Why are you so unsympathetic? Don't you know you need to care for small animals? Brother Dai, as a passerby, I'll give you 2 words. Licking the dog licks well, asking for food early. A large number of experienced licking dogs have emerged to speak up. I'm not a licking dog, she has feelings for me, said the cherry blossom tree as she waited for the rain. At 5:20, she took the initiative to transfer me a 520 yuan red envelope. Once, when I invited her to the mall for dinner, she just ordered a bowl of lammy and noodles. Speaking of the little things with my older sister, I couldn't hide my happiness under the cherry blossom tree waiting for the rain. How could a girl with such a good personality and character be a scumbag who licks her dog? Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain to emit soul torture. Upon hearing his words, Shuiyou finally made a difference. After all, in this era, few girls would take the initiative to send red envelopes and not choose high-end restaurants to eat. So what? Let me ask you 2 questions first. Chen Yu interrupted at this moment. Okay, you can ask. On the day of 520, how much did you transfer to her before she transferred 520 yuan to you? 52,000. Chen Yu asked again, when we invited her to the mall for dinner, besides asking for a bowl of noodles, what did she ask you for after dinner? A shopping cart worth 100,000 yuan in the mall. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain to come true. The water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room briefly remained silent for a few seconds. In an instant, barrage of bullets flew all over the sky. Sleeping slot. I didn't expect this brain circuit. Big brother, I can also transfer 520 yuan to you. Can you transfer 520,000 yuan to me? Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain but not paying attention to the barrage, he looked at Chen Yu with a worried expression. Dr. Chen, can you help me analyze what she thinks? Why have you been treating me with ups and downs lately? Chen Yu didn't answer, but instead asked, do you have a photo of her? Show me a look. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain without saying a word, I carefully took out a photo from my wallet. Take a clear look at the woman in the photo. Nearly 100,000 people in the live broadcast room were suddenly howling like wolves. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Love Her Everything. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Love Her Everything. The goose is wrong, the goose is really wrong. The goose should not mock him as a bully. If I had such a beautiful girlfriend, I would be willing to go bankrupt. The lovely young lady is really worthless in front of the mature imperial sister. Cherry Blossom Brothers, I've made a deal with you as a friend. The abacus beads upstairs are almost crashing into my face through the internet. Watching the teasing barrage of water enthusiasts, the cherry blossom tree looked proud as it waited for rain. The woman in the photo has a tall and slender figure with slender limbs. She has a beautiful and prosperous appearance, with a royal sister's face. Are you saying that such a woman is worth pursuing with all my heart and blood? Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain. Tynema is worth it. It's said that the 3rd year of college holds a golden brick. Brother, you're looking for a gold mine. If you can marry her, you can reduce your life by 10 years. As both women, I feel a bit tempted. This time, the water enthusiasts have a highly unified wind direction. Dr. Chen, you have already seen the photo. Can you tell me now why she treats me with sudden heat and cold? When it comes to this issue, the cherry blossom tree's face under the rain becomes dim again. Ever since I met her. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, I asked myself how obedient I was to her. Not only does it respond instantly upon receiving the message. Once you receive the news of the meeting, even if it's windy or rainy. The cherry blossom tree will also catch up with the rain as soon as it falls. Are you sure you want to know? Chen Yu's tone is peculiar. Under the cherry blossom tree, as the rain was about to speak, my heart suddenly thumped. Previously, I answered questions and provided clarification to Zhou Kursen. Chen Yu seems to have the same tone. Is the goddess in my heart really that kind of woman? Using oneself as a spare tire for licking dogs, an endless ATM. After a moment of silence, the cherry blossom tree let out a long sigh as it waited for rain. Dr. Chen, she can't be the female sea king, can she? At this moment, waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree is like a prisoner waiting for judgment. My heart became restless and restless. I am afraid of hearing the truth. I really want to know again. Why does the other party treat themselves with sudden coldness and heat? She's not the queen of the sea, so far she's only been with you. She is indeed a good woman. Chen Yu's words are like fairy sounds. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, his face was extremely excited and he punched his thigh. The reason why she treats you hot and cold is because she hasn't figured it out yet. Should we keep dating you? After the last meeting, she hasn't seen you again for half a month, right? Yes, 15 days and 7 hours. Under the cherry blossom tree, the rain is bitter. She said to travel abroad and meet again after returning. Half a month without seeing the goddess, waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree can be said to count the time to live. She did go abroad, but not for tourism, but to the hospital for postoperative care. She underwent surgery. Under the cherry blossom tree, the rain suddenly became urgent. Immediately afterwards, he became full of self-blame. Dr. Chen, please tell me quickly what illness she has and is her condition serious now? The goddess fell ill and underwent surgery, yet she knew nothing about it. Thinking of the previous meeting, the goddess looked listless and absent-minded. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, I really want to slap myself hard. Being listless indicates that the goddess is not in good health. Being absent-minded should be worrying about whether the surgery will be successful. She didn't get sick, and the surgery she did wasn't what you thought. Chen Yu's words made the cherry blossom tree rain like falling clouds. What surgery should I do if I'm not sick? Ha, I can't do it anymore. This brother is so innocent that it hurts. Brother, your goddess is not wielding a knife on her belly, but on her face. What a man-made goddess, competing high in technology and ruthlessness. Through reminders from fellow water enthusiasts, the cherry blossom tree suddenly realized the importance of waiting for rain. Did she have plastic surgery before? It's considered plastic surgery. Received a definite response from Chen Yu. Under the cherry blossom tree, I breathed a sigh of relief as I waited for the rain. Thank you, Dr. Chen, for telling me these things. I love her and naturally tolerate everything about her. Plastic surgery is not a mistake. As long as she likes it, I will support and love her as always, no matter where she puts the knife on her body. For plastic surgery, there is no opinion on waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree. Plastic surgery has become a trend these days. Goddesses cannot avoid vulgarity, it is not a problem at all. It's just not enough to have surgery if you're sick. Chen Yu asked, are you sure you will always love her? Sure, definitely and definitely. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, there is an unquestionable determination. If you like someone, accept all their strengths and weaknesses, and tolerate everything about them. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, I am serious and speak about my understanding of love. He is not only pursuing the body and appearance of the goddess. And there is also the inner nature of the goddess. If the goddess is full of virtues, waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree can actually make one feel inferior. I feel that I am not worthy of others. Nowadays, it is known that goddesses enjoy plastic surgery. Waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree actually made it much easier. Why is my nose a bit sore? What a strong wind, it makes me cry. Mom, I believe in love again. The 3 views of cherry blossoms are very positive. If it weren't for his dislike of the little sister, everyone would have wanted to date him. I like the little sister, seeking social interaction. LSP roll away. If you want priceless treasures, it's rare to have a lover. This is true love. After listening to the love declaration under the cherry blossom tree waiting for rain, all the water friends were moved by it. In today's materialistic society, what people lack the most is not money, but with sincerity. Everyone can see that the words of waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree are 100% sincere. Dr. Chen, I understand. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the cold rain and shouting loudly. What do you understand now? Chen Yu asked in response. The reason why the goddess hesitates to continue dating me is definitely because of my status as a wealthy second generation. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, one's face remains steadfast. She is afraid that I will be like those playboys, and socializing with her is just for fun. After playing enough, she is likely to be abandoned. I want to go abroad to find her, propose to her in person, and swear with my heart that I will never leave her for the rest of my life. After speaking, the cherry blossom tree waited for the rain to send Chen Yu another 20 carnivals. Dr. Chen, please tell me which hospital in which country she is recuperating from. I will buy a plane ticket to find her now. Feeling the urgency of waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree, water enthusiasts sent their blessings one after another. Brave young people, go pursue love, come on. I work at the airline and I can help you book the fastest international flight. Little brother, you must be happy. Looking at the scattered blessing barrage on the screen, Chen Yu closed his eyes and rubbed his nose bridge. Dr. Chen, please. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain was so urgent that I almost cried. The water friends followed suit and said good things, begging Chen Yu to help the cherry blossom tree wait for the rain. Tell him the name of the country and hospital where the goddess is located. She is hospitalized at the National Hospital of Siam, Gender Plastic Surgery and Rehabilitation Center. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. You are a good person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. You are a good person, boom. Chen Yu's words were like a heavy bomb. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, my mind was blank. I'll strangle it, no wonder I'm so tall. It turns out I'm a big shot. I used to be quite excited, but now I'm even more excited. I unilaterally declare that Siam's level of magic exceeds Asan's. Zenima prickly chicken. It's best to type the wrong word upstairs. My friend asked me to help ask if going to Siam for that kind of surgery can make you look as beautiful as the person in the photo. Brother, dare to tell your story. Siam, what does gender plastic surgery represent? Those who understand it understand. While water enthusiasts were greatly shocked. Various clever memes emerge endlessly. In just over a dozen words, it exploded under the cherry blossom tree, making it crispy and tender outside the rain. You're lying. You must be deliberately deceiving me. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain to roar and shout. A pure and flawless goddess in her heart can never be a man. Chen Yu said calmly, her penguin space will give you the answer. As for finding her penguin number like this, shouldn't I teach you? Upon hearing these words, the cherry blossom tree immediately picked up its phone while waiting for rain. Download the Penguin app on the spot. With the popularization of WeChat, Penguin, the first generation of social networking software, has significantly reduced its usage rate. Only those born in the 1980s and 1990s still persistently using it. In order to keep up with the times, Penguin has added a mobile friend search function similar to WeChat. Download completed. Under the cherry blossom tree waiting for rain, click to add friends. Directly entered the goddess's phone number. Next, a name appeared in the add friends section. Cute rabbit. Under the cherry blossom tree, wait for the rain and immediately click on the opponent's avatar. Enter the penguin space. In addition to a large number of photos, there is also a lot of textual emotions in the space. On the first day of injecting estrogen and androgen, I was so excited, so excited. The unscrupulous merchant has doubled the price of hormones, it's so frustrating, I can't afford it anymore. It takes 500,000 yuan to undergo that surgery in Siam, and they need to work hard to become beautiful little sisters as soon as possible. Today I learned the Yujia sound, it's so enlightening. When a girl is really happy, someone takes the initiative to give up their seat in the car. Between the lines, there is a sweet and feminine writing style. The content is biased, and the viewer cannot bear to look directly at it. Under the cherry blossom tree that was about to petrify, waiting for rain, my fingers trembled as I clicked on the photo album in the space. Click on the first photo. It is an artistic photo of a tall, red-lipped and white-toothed boy. In the first few photos, the male students still have obvious male characteristics. As the photos were opened one by one, the image of boys is gradually changing. Long ponytail, double ponytail. Sailor uniform JK, Lolita long skirt. Various styles of female attire and attire have appeared on boys one after another. Later on, the style began to change from sweet to bold. Skilled short hair, suitable for ladies to wear. The photo taken before waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree is completely the same person. The last photo shows a boy wearing women's clothing, standing at the entrance of a large hospital filled with foreign languages. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain made my face even more bitter than eating huanglian. I really don't know how I have the courage. Looking through these photos one by one. As expected, a man can bend and stretch, rise and shrink. Digging a pit is easier than planting trees. Curiously, can we have children in this situation? A group of stinky straight men with cancer, they have changed, it's none of your business. Can hospitals transform women into men? After this surgery, postoperative maintenance is very expensive. Surprisingly, a wild expert was discovered. Are you talking about the topic of no chicken? Alright, everyone, don't joke. Chen Yu spoke up and interrupted the one-sided teasing rhythm. This patient, do you still think I'm lying to you? Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, she shook her head in a daze. Why did she do this? I will tell you this question later. How are you feeling now? Chen Yu asked. Feeling frustrated and uncomfortable. Under the cherry blossom tree, there is a bitter road waiting for rain. This is an obvious symptom of depression, do you need my treatment? Required. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain and dew, there was an unattainable expression. Turns out I really have a mental illness. The goddess is actually a man. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, I wish I could hit my head against the wall. When did one become blind with their own eyes? Both men and women cannot be distinguished. I can see it now. With just a few words to Dr. Chen, you can still get sick even if you're not sick. The summary is insightful. Even though he is very miserable, why do I always want to laugh? I want to laugh +1. Plus 10,086, brother, how many times have you had in-depth communication with your goddess? What's wrong with me, who has been single for 30 years, entering this live broadcast room is so eye-catching. As big melons were thrown out one by one. The number of people in the live broadcast room exceeded 150000. It's really fun every day, especially today. Dr. Chen, has she ever been sincere with me? As soon as Chen Yu said this, he almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. I can handle it, Dr. Chen, please tell me the truth. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain. If you say, no, it's not entirely true. But if there are many, I can say there are, but not many. Chen Yu pondered over the sentence. Speaking of the long and complex love story between the two, it is full of sorrow and twists. One day a year ago, while driving through a commercial district, you heard someone shouting, "Help catch a thief." Seeing that the owner is an older sister, you can drive to catch the thief without saying a word. Because of this matter, the two of you met and exchanged contact information. Afterwards, you pursued her crazily because you were a good person. Although she didn't feel anything for you, she couldn't bear to hurt you. Just try to date you. In the process of communication, you keep sending her money, so that she has sufficient funds to recuperate after surgery. Under the cherry blossom tree, I was stunned by the rain. After playing for a while, the other person agreed to try dating him. Not being moved by one's own sincerity. Just because I am a good person. Only those who can't save face will accept pursuit. I'm sorry, you're a good person, you're too ugly. The three major confidences in life, she has a good impression of me. Difficulties never come apart. Men are not bad, not only do women not love them, but even men do not love them. Ha ha ha, there's talent upstairs. Chen Yu looked at the barrage and said, do you want to know what the future would be like if you were always together? Can psychologists still predict the future? Isn't this a skill that fortune tellers only possess? Under the cherry blossom tree, I was dumbfounded by the rain. Science is omnipotent. Chen Yu has a serious face. Psychological diagnosis is a complex scientific discipline that covers content far beyond your imagination. By inferring based on each person's personality and current situation, one can naturally know their future. The water enthusiasts followed with a dumbfounded expression. Chen Yiming boldly opened his eyes and told lies. Is this really good? Predict the future of life. Are you sure this is not metaphysics? Are the paths of current psychologists so wild? End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Another end of life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Another end of life. Dr. Chen, tell me, I can handle it. The face that should be lost is lost today. Under the cherry blossom tree, I waited for the rain and reluctantly let out. Decided to ask a clear question. This brother can handle it, he really doesn't treat us as outsiders. Night and night sound brother. I strongly opposed this master's withdrawal from the literary world back then. Pooh, I remember you called it the happiest. Their future must be very bumpy, right? Water enthusiasts continue to work hard. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, there is no longer any morale to stand in line with them. I just want to know what the future holds for me and her. If you didn't notice today, you would be very happy and a model couple in everyone's eyes. He and Mimi spent more than 60 years together, never blushing or arguing. Chen Yu threw another melon. Model couple. Under the cherry blossom tree, I looked surprised as I waited for the rain. That is to say, I will marry her. Why is it completely different from what I think? After living together for decades after marriage, hasn't this brother noticed anything different about each other? First-class supporting role, second-rate acting skills, third-rate script. Is it true that difficulties arise over time? Water enthusiasts have issued barrage comments with questioning content. No matter what kind of plastic surgery institution, it is impossible to completely transform a man into a woman. There may be some gender characteristics left on the body. Unless the cherry blossom tree waits for rain and becomes blind. Otherwise, there will always be a day of discovery. Dr. Chen, will we really live a happy life? Rationally speaking, it is impossible for the cherry blossom tree to wait for rain. Unfortunately, these words came from Chen Yu's mouth. Chen Yu said slowly. She was abandoned by her parents on the roadside since childhood, and was later discovered by a kind-hearted person and sent to a welfare home. The majority of abandoned children in welfare institutions are girls. Living in an environment with many girls for a long time, my personality gradually leans towards femininity unconsciously. Combined with naturally red lips and white teeth, the vocal cords are delicate. Since elementary school, her classmates around her have been using sissy and fake girls to refer to her. After entering college, she began to be exposed to the internet and had the idea of completely becoming a woman. Chen Yu paused for a moment. The mood diary and photos you just saw in Penguin Space are the starting point of her emotional transformation. In order to undergo plastic surgery, she saved herself for 10 years and finally saved up 500,000 yuan. I thought I would become a woman through surgery and no longer be discriminated against by strange looks. However, she overlooked one thing. What's going on? Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain to interject and ask. Postoperative maintenance and conditioning require a large amount of money as support. Chen Yu explained, metamorphosis surgery has extremely strong harm to the body. The surgery cost of 500,000 yuan is just the beginning, and then there will be millions of dollars spent on recuperation. As the words fell, a large number of science popularization barrage appeared in the live broadcast room. The anchor is right. I have read the news that many people in Siam who have undergone this type of surgery, most of whom do not live to be 40 years old. I am a medical student, and even if this type of surgery is successful, the risk of organ rejection is very high, which may lead to death. If you don't understand, just ask. Isn't the old one also quick? I'm afraid there's no chance of getting old. As long as the money is in place, all kinds of high-value postoperative recuperation and priceless potions can keep up, which may not necessarily reduce life expectancy and lead to premature death. After the water enthusiasts have educated about the dangers of this surgery, Chen Yu will continue to explain. With the money you gave her, she will soon complete the first stage of postoperative recuperation. After returning to China, her attitude towards you was still fluctuating. In order to show your sincerity, you held a grand proposal ceremony. In consideration of your being a good person and supporting her with a large amount of money, she proposed 2 marriage conditions. Don't have children in your lifetime, you can only play poker once a month. You chose to fully agree and finally succeeded in marrying the goddess in your heart. After marriage, you keep your promise and only have sex with her once a month. Even if she had to travel alone for a month every 6 months for the first 10 years before marriage, you never had any dissatisfaction or suspicion. 10 years later, she finally fell in love with you. You sing along with the women, like divine couples. Neighbors, friends, and relatives all believe that you have married a virtuous wife. Even your parents, who were dissatisfied with your dink, completely recognized this daughter.in.law. Before their death, they personally entrusted her with the management of the company's finances. So, you have been together for 60 years, and in the end, you all left peacefully. Chen Yu spent 5 minutes telling the story of waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree and her life for the next 60 years. The live broadcast room was completely silent. Let's talk about love stories alone. The love story between the rain and the goddess under the cherry blossom tree is very touching. But water enthusiasts always feel uncomfortable. The Sakura brothers are so pitiful. They haven't touched a real woman in their lifetime. As this barrage appears, water enthusiasts finally understand why they feel uncomfortable. A partner who has lived together for 60 years has turned from a man to a woman. It's equivalent to saying that under the cherry blossom tree, I waited for rain and spent my whole life with a man. Love makes people blind, but this statement does not deceive me. Sakura, let me know when you get married that I'm going to a banquet. Count me in, I'll sit at the children's table. Love between husband and wife, X, love between husband and wife, square root, brothers, look forward to the day you get married. I don't believe they will get married unless they let me visit the bridal chamber. Dr. Yang, the Thunderbolt Dharma King, arrived and all idle people dodged. In addition to joking, there are also many water enthusiasts who feel sorry for the cherry blossom tree waiting for rain. A young hero who fights against human traffickers at the age of 7. Why does the older you get, the lower your IQ? Can a man's IQ really drop in front of his beloved? Waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree is a sign of mourning. The story is very touching. My own intelligence is equally touching. Striving for true love, he turned out to be a man. I have been living a life of confusion with others who have been single for 20.30 years can eventually get married and have children. I can handle it myself. I have never touched a real woman in my life. Chen Yu smiled lightly and said, now that you know your future, there is an opportunity to choose your destiny again. Dr. Chen, can I change my fate and have another life without her? The intelligence of waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree has finally regained the high ground of the brain. The mind generates everything, and the mindset determines everything. If the heart changes, life will also change accordingly. Chen Yu nodded and said. The water enthusiasts were stunned. I increasingly feel that Chen Yu is a prodigy disguised as a psychologist. After breaking off contact with that woman, your fate will undergo a complete change, leading to a different outcome in your life. Chen Yu's words changed. However, the second ending of life. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Happy Breakup. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Happy Breakup. The anchor must have said before about storytelling, how can we sell it to others? After listening to Uncle's advice, psychologists have no future. It's better to set up a street stall for fortune-telling. You will definitely become a master of fortune-telling. But once it comes out, there must be fun. Look, the cherry blossom face is almost turning into a bitter gourd face. I'll bet on a spicy strip, and the anchor's next words will ensure that it can cool Sakura's heart. Add half a pack of instant noodles. Swoha, a box of AD calcium milk. There is some discrepancy with what the water enthusiasts have guessed. The heart waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree is now cold. Why is one's life so hard? You can tell from Chen Yu's tone. Another future outcome is expected to be even more bumpy. This patient, do you still want to listen? Chen Yu looked concerned and said. Listen. Under the cherry blossom tree, there is no strength in waiting for rain. Respecting patience is one of the professional qualities of doctors, and I will talk to you about your second future in life. Chen Yu drank a glass of water. After moistening his throat, Chen Yu said, after cutting off contact with her, continue to devote yourself to the endless path of finding true love. Due to the deep injury, you have fallen into the root of the illness. Every time you encounter a big sister who has feelings, you will first carefully observe whether she is male or female. This move fell into the eyes of the woman and was seen as lewd by them. Over time, your lewd name spread throughout the city, becoming the most despised man among women in the city. There is no one. Even a gold digger wouldn't dare to approach you, fearing that you have that quirky habit. 7 or 8 years have passed in a blink of an eye, and love has completely closed the door to you. You, who are over 30 years old, have entered into a business alliance under the arrangement of your parents. After marriage, you have a son, and you treat him as the apple of your eye. It wasn't until a child was injured and needed a blood transfusion that you knew he wasn't your son. You, who have been hit again, completely collapsed, divorced your wife, and chose to drink too much to escape reality. Alcohol abuse caused you to have no intention of managing the company, and your business went bankrupt 2 years later. At the age of 50, you entered the hospital due to alcohol poisoning. After discharge, your nose was crooked and your eyes were crooked, and no one was willing to give you a meal. A year later, you fell drunk on the street and never woke up again. Rao is already mentally prepared for the rain under the cherry blossom tree. Anticipating the outcome of one's second life may not be very good. He couldn't even think of killing him. This Nima is not just bad. It's just unlucky mom opening the door for unlucky. Bad luck at home. Being treated as a lewd man by all the women in the city is already enough to hold back. And this is just the beginning. After getting married, I enjoy being a father. Having raised children for decades. The self who never drinks eventually becomes an alcoholic. Finally died in desolation on the street. In that moment, under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, there was a plan to escape into the empty door. Don't stop me, I want to give him a big, miserable character. How do I feel that the first ending is better? How to remove it, please? I announce that Sakura has won the second prize for this year's most tragic figure. Who is the first prize? Of course, it's the next unlucky person to consult with the anchor. To mock is to mock. Everyone sincerely believes that without considering the premise that the goddess was once a man. The first ending was really good. Husband and wife love each other, family and friends envy each other, and they die peacefully. Under the cherry blossom tree, I waited for the rain and bit my lips hard. What will happen to her life after cutting off contact? As soon as these words were spoken, the water enthusiasts immediately rejoiced. Waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree is a way back to the old way. Think about it too. Compared to the second ending. The first ending, except for a slight flaw. Waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree is definitely a winner in life. It's very unfortunate. Chen Yu sighed. Is it even worse than me? Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain, she asked softly. Half a pound, 8 taels. Chen Yu said calmly, without your financial assistance, she won't be able to pay for the rest of the rehabilitation expenses. In order to prolong her life and maintain her current beauty, she went to work at a nightclub that could earn a high salary. Long-term companionship with alcohol can lead to poor physical health and the constant use of medication throughout the day. Later, her story was discovered by a paparazzi journalist and widely reported as headline news. Various vulgar language and harassing text messages continue. The dual pressure from both the outside world and her body ultimately crushed her and she chose to jump into the sea to end her life. Under the cherry blossom tree, I closed my eyes in pain waiting for the rain. Being alone is not worth it. The former goddess, with a tragic level comparable to herself. What kind of ghost ending is this? Compared to them, the tragic world can be called a joyful world. Is there anything else you want to ask, patient? Chen Yu spoke in unison. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain to rain, she frowned and said, Dr. Chen, if she can get enough money for the next few periods of recuperation, will her future life still be so miserable? Upon hearing this, Chen Yu fell silent for a few seconds. Start using Tianji strategy for calculation. I don't know. Will she be happy? Yes. Upon hearing these words, the cherry blossom tree breathed a clear sigh of relief as it waited for rain. 5 million, is it enough for her next care expenses? Chen Yu fixed his gaze on the cherry blossom tree waiting for rain behind the screen. Are you sure you want to do this? Okay. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain to cut through the railway. That's enough. Thank you. Received a clear response, Sakura tree waited for the rain to take out her phone and open the bank app. Without any hesitation, transfer 5 million to the other party's account. Dee. A moment later, the phone waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree rang. On the phone, sweet and graceful female voices came out. Why did you transfer so much money to me? The maintenance fee I gave you. I wish you happiness in the future and find a man who doesn't dislike you. Under the cherry blossom tree, a faint pain flashed on my face as I waited for rain. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to keep it from you. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for the rain without saying a word, hang up the phone. Quickly delete all contact information with the other party. Dr. Chen, although I have lost face today, I still want to thank you. Having experienced great joy and sorrow, under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, my face remained calm without any waves. I don't want the first two endings of my life, I want to walk a new path that belongs to me. With a rebellious personality, he firmly believes that he can find true love. Brother, why are you suffering? Isn't it good to be a couple of gods and immortals who support each other? Since life is already predetermined, why not find it difficult for yourself? Water enthusiasts spoke up one after another to dissuade. Under the cherry blossom tree, waiting for rain, she shook her head and stood up, bowing deeply to the screen. Chen Yu said, since you have made a choice, as a doctor, I respect your decision. Dr. Chen, how much should I give you for diagnosis and treatment? You have already rewarded dozens of carnivals, so let's just forget about the medical expenses this time. Chen Yu gave a faint smile. Life is so tragic, the cherry blossom tree is waiting for rain to move forward without any progress. This fierce person is rare. After expressing his emotions, Chen Yu made an unexpected move. Quickly download. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. He is not an ordinary psychologist. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. He is not an ordinary psychologist. Chen Yu chose to broadcast without any warning. More than 10,000 unknown water enthusiasts did not expect Chen Yu to come this way. Isn't Tiger Fish claiming to have countless servers and never disconnect? Why do they drop links at critical moments? Is it possible that the anchor went offline on their own? Impossible, absolutely impossible. There were over 200,000 people in the live broadcast room, who didn't take the opportunity to attract a wave of fans, but instead went offline without saying a word. The anchor's mind was in a daze. There is only one truth, the actors hired by the anchor and the script can only be sustained until now. A wise netizen transforms into a death god elementary school student. Analyze Chen Yu's sudden live stream. It's because all the requested palettes have been used up. If someone asks him for consultation again, Chen Yu will definitely reveal his true feelings. The live broadcast room is indeed full of talents, and the analysis by the netizens is too reasonable. I don't think it's like acting, let alone a big anchor like Zhou Jie. It's not something he can hire. Even if Zhou Jie is a wealthy second generation like Sakura, why should she cooperate with the anchor in acting? Just now, waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree was equivalent to transferring 5 million yuan, and everyone saw it. It's easy to take out 5 million, indicating that the cherry blossom tree is not lacking in money for waiting for rain. Perhaps these people are all part of the same team, and the money they give out is just a left-to-right turn. That's right, it must be like this. Psychologist's fortune-telling and fortune-telling is definitely a new script. The barrage below has attracted other netizens to follow suit and agree. For ordinary people, psychologists do have some sense of mystery. But in mystery, it's not a fairy either. Calculate the addition of amphetamine to the cold medicine through the screen. Is this trustworthy? The dozens of carnivals waiting for rain to reward under the cherry blossom tree are definitely not fake, are they? At first glance, you are a newly graduated college student who is both foolish and naive. This is called promotional expenses. Waiting for rain under the cherry blossom tree may truly be the second generation of wealthy individuals, perhaps it is the team he formed. Did you get the key point wrong? As long as you have fun reading it, it doesn't matter if it's a script or not. The live broadcast room suddenly quieted down. That's right. Is it important to have fun reading the script? Not important. Whether it's Zhou Curson or the cherry blossom tree waiting for rain. The expression just now was quite exaggerated. As long as you think about it, water enthusiasts can still laugh non-stop. Brothers, hurry up. Sister Zhou posted a video in her live broadcast room. Go together. Ha ha ha, there's another big melon to eat. In an instant, the water enthusiasts who stayed in Chen Yu's live broadcast room chatting and eating melons shifted their positions one after another. With Zhou Kerson's sudden video, the empty live broadcast room flooded with over 100,000 water users in an instant. The video is about 3 minutes long. The filming location is at the entrance of the emergency department of a hospital. Zhou Kerson holds the inspection form in her hand. Describe the hospital examination results. Chen Yu's words are absolutely accurate. Cold medicine and sandwiches do contain amphetamines. After undergoing blood tests, Zhou Kerson also contains amphetamine components in her body. After finishing these words, Zhou Kerson took out another report receipt. Anan has been taken away by police T. If there is any new news, Zhou Kerson will notify netizens who care about her as soon as possible. At the end of the video, Zhou Kerson sincerely expresses her gratitude to Chen Yu. According to the doctor, if she continues to consume food and drinks containing amphetamines, in a while, the medication will cause irreversible damage to her brain. Even if it's not an idiot. There will also be serious injuries such as language disorders and slow movements. The inspection form and report receipt are both stamped with a bright red seal. The authenticity is beyond doubt. Zhou Jie is said to be an actor's keyboard warrior. Come out and take a walk. If keyboardist dares to come out, I dare to live stream eating xiang. Anan is truly obsessed, probably not for 10 or 8 years. Don't expect to come out of it. To popularize science, intentional poisoning is a serious offense and can result in a sentence of more than 10 years, life, or even death. I suddenly thought of a sentence, thank you so much for not killing my roommate. Water enthusiasts were filled with emotion. Chen Yu and Zhou Kerson, following the script and singing the double read, directly broke through without breaking through. Psychotropic drug poisoning, this is not a joke. Screenwriters and actors dare not make their own decisions. Moreover, An's arrest was evidenced by a police receipt. In order to make the script realistic, first, arrange for Zhou Kerson to drink medicine, and then offer sacrifices to an influential anchor. What kind of underworld operation is this? Relying on a sexy route, although the number of fans on An is not as high as last week's Kerson. But it's only relative. Compared to those little anchors who nobody watches. An is definitely a big anchor. Good guy, if you say sacrifice, then sacrifice. It's impossible to think about it. The statements of the script actors are self-evident. Chen Yu was once again carried out by his water friends. Universal water enthusiasts, do you know which hospital Dr. Chen works at? I seriously suspect that he is not a psychologist at all, but a retired senior practitioner in folk art. Don't read more cultivation novels upstairs, these things are damaging to your brain cells. The anchor may be a private detective with a lot of strange and bizarre black materials in his hands, so he uses mystery to expose them and create gimmicks and traffic for himself. Immediately, Shuiyou had a heated discussion about Chen Yu's identity. Detective, skilled in magic, paparazzi journalist, fortune teller. There is no possibility that water enthusiasts cannot express. Anyway, it's just one sentence. Chen Yu can never be an ordinary psychologist. In store. Chen Yu closed his eyes tightly and crossed his knees on the ground. The reason for hastily dropping the broadcast was not that Chen Yu deliberately played tricks. It's really a last resort. Helping two people change their destiny in a row, a large amount of merit and energy flooded into their bodies. If they are not refined in time. Next. Chen Yu will transform into a steam engine emitting white gas all over. Shu Tan. The digestion of the two merits and virtues has been completed. Chen Yu felt indescribably comfortable all over. The whole person is light and floating. As if lying on a soft and comfortable big bed. The benefits brought to Chen Yu by merit and luck are countless. For the understanding of cultivation, take it to the next level. Both physical fitness and lifespan have been significantly improved. The opening outline of Tianji strategy is very clear. To cultivate immortality, one must first refine qi. Only by absorbing qi can one cultivate immortality. In this late Dharma era, the spiritual energy between heaven and earth was sparse. Relying on normal paths for cultivation, Chen Yu may not be able to break through the stage of refining gas throughout his life. The emergence of Tianji gave Chen Yu a shortcut. No need to painstakingly search for the place where spiritual energy exists. As long as we continue to change lives and fortunes for others. Not long after, Chen Yu will be able to break through the stage of refining gas, formally entering the realm of cultivation. Feeling a bit hungry, Chen Yu went downstairs and opened the door, ready to buy something to eat. "Excuse me, is there anyone here who can tell fortune?" An elderly person with gray hair and leaning on a cane appeared at the entrance of the store. Chen Yu had a black question mark on his face. There is a sign outside the store indicating a psychological science consultation room. Grandpa comes in and doesn't ask about science or fortune-telling. Is your godly attribute so prominent? Can't even hide it. End of this chapter.